CQC only super well because, you know, it's still like a sniper scope, but DMRs are great with this. I feel like this might be my SA-58 like setup now. Like, this is a great sight for the SA-58, and I haven't used the SA-58 in quite a while, and I'm kind of beaming. Adding this in post, make sure to comment your favorite ACOG down below after watching the video to the end. Enjoy the video though. So hello gamers and welcome back to another video. The ACOG sights are very interesting scopes that are medium range and can go on pretty much any gun that you could want, with a few exceptions of course, but you could put an ACOG on like a pistol or a shotgun and it would still be pretty good compared to like a VCOG or something like that. So today I wanted to rank every single ACOG sight in Phantom Forces. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're new. Like, actually do check down below if you're subscribed. Let's start it off with the good old regular ACOG. The ACOG sight has one single zoom like this, and it's a 4x zoom, which is really not too bad. It is significantly more than your average sight, of course, but that's kind of what you're going for. But at the same time, it doesn't have any scope sway, which is pretty nice. Higher zoom optics, generally speaking, in this game will have a little bit of sway to them, which makes it a little bit more difficult to hit shots unless you're holding down shift, which is pretty annoying. However, on this one, not so much. This is actually one of the main guns I see the ACOG on, the L22. Do I really recommend it on this gun? Not really, but it is pretty interesting to run this on this gun because it doesn't have the most recoil. It's a pretty accurate gun all around. So you could run this on, you know, your average automatic gun. Is it really necessary? Not really. But if you have a more accurate gun, like for example a Scar L, it actually might not be too bad, and you could run a canted on this as well. My biggest problem with it is just that it doesn't have a lot to go for it other than just being a scope, which is a nice thing, right? Like, it's a scope, it's pretty decent, but you're actually going to find out later in this video a lot of the ACOG sights in this game actually have more than just a single zoom. So having just this default one is not really that great, but it does pretty well for that. So I'd actually give this one probably a 4 out of 5. I feel like it is one of the better ones if you just want a sight that zooms in a little bit more than your average Coyote sight or a Pillat or something like that, and you want a little bit of a longer range gun. This is pretty good. I don't really use it too much because, yeah, it's got a lot of zoom, which is kind of annoying, but as you can see, kind of goes off, not gonna lie. But next up we have a little bit more of like a DMR sniper type ACOG sight, which is the TA-33 ACOG. This one's a little bit different. It doesn't zoom in as much as the other ACOG, and you're like, okay, so it's more of like a CQC one, right? However, it does have an alt fire, as you can see, like this, which will zoom in a little bit more and full zoom in. This means that instead of just, you know, being this kind of sight, it completely obscures the rest of your vision, which that's one of the biggest upsides of the ACOG, is that you can see outside of your normal range of vision. And honestly, I don't really like this reticle as much outside of the sniper one, because I like the sniper one, but I don't like the regular, and 3.2 is kind of like a weird zoom level. That's why this is more of a sniper one. I feel like you actually want to use this alt fire more than the regular ACOG, which is weird, you know, like, doesn't feel like an ACOG anymore. It feels more like, you know, an average sniper rifle scope. Is it good though? Yeah, it's actually a pretty good one. I'd say this is probably, because in my opinion, it's not quite as good or all around just use for any type of gun. It's a 3 out of 5, but I don't think it's bad. I just don't think it's great for everything. The ACOG feels a little bit better just for like any gun. Wow, that guy's camping. Holy, and I didn't even see it. The main reticle is just kind of weird. I don't really like it too much. This, I don't know, it's kind of bad. Also, this guy literally has like my skin. I pretty much patented that skin, okay? You guys can use it, of course, but like, it's my skin. But next up we have the TA-11 ACOG, which is one of the weirdest ones in the game. Definitely a little bit of a controversial one. This puts together the ACOG and the TA-33 ACOG together. What I mean by that is basically it's a regular ACOG, as you can see. However, it does have that alt fire, which is a little bit similar to the TA-33 in that it goes like this. And actually, this one, in my opinion, might be the best in the game because it's kind of the best of both worlds. Not fully. It's more like a jack of all trades, but it does actually do it pretty well, or a jack of all trades sight, because it does the normal ACOG thing a lot better than the TA-33, as you can see, but it also does the sniper one not as well as the TA-33 does, but pretty good. Like, I do like this. I feel like this version of it has a lot more zoom, so if you want basically this as your all range one, I feel like this might be the best one in the game. We'll have to see the other, I think, 2 that there's left, but yeah, I really like this one. I feel like this is going to be my favorite, maybe, but we'll have to get a feel for the other ones to see if this one is the best, but I'd still give it a 5 out of 5. I feel like it does basically everything that you could want in a sight. Obviously, it still doesn't do like CQC only super well because, you know, it's still like a sniper scope, but DMRs are great with this. I feel like this might be my TA-33, I mean my SA-58 like setup now. Like, this is a great sight for the SA-58, and I haven't used the SA-58 in quite a while, and I'm kind of beaming. Let's go. We're still in a multi. Please, can I empty reload? dude. But last of our 4, we have the TA01 ACOG. And then we're going to go back through and see which one of these I like the most. The TA01 does something that none of the other ACOGs can do, which is close range sights. Yes, this does have an iron sight on the scope, which is pretty nice. The main zoom is a little bit between the regular ACOG and the TA33, but more like a regular ACOG. As you can see, it's like this, which is not too bad. It isn't glowy or cool like the other ones, and it is like a little bit, I don't know, it kind of like almost blends in with the rest of the environment, which is pretty annoying. However, this is not a bad optic, right? So then you have the iron sight, and this one, if you want a CQC kind of sight and you don't want to use a canted, I guess this is there. It's not very great. With any kind of recoil, it performs pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie, like, not really great for containing that recoil into something that you can really look down sights over any kind of range and still hit stuff with, because it's a little bit like close to your vision, which makes the perceived recoil kind of high and weird. It isn't a bad sight, but like you only get this sight and this sight, and I don't really think I like either of them, you know? This does serve its own purpose. It's not great at that. Whoa, I want to get out of here. Got him. But like I said, you got the CQC sight, which is really, really cool. I'm a huge fan of that idea. However, you may as well kind of just run a default ACOG and a canted. But if you don't want to do that, this is a pretty good sight. I'm not going to say it's great. I'm going to give this one probably a 4 out of 5. It does do something very good that a lot of people might want to check out. However, I don't feel like it does that unique thing well enough. So because it has this sight, it's definitely going to get a 4 out of 5, but it doesn't get a 5 out of 5 because the TA01 or whatever it's called, the one that has basically TA33 but better, that one I kind of like more. It doesn't have really as great CQC advantages as this does, and see why you would want to use this. Next up, we're going to talk about the kill requirements and which guns we should use with the different ACOGs in the game. So first off, you have the regular ACOG, and surprisingly, even though this is developed for the M4 and the M16, I actually don't 100% recommend that you run the M4 with this sight because it doesn't have any kind of alt fire. However, if you don't want to use like the TA01, this might be the best one, because since it only has one of its aiming modes, you can do something that is a lot more convenient than on other guns. And what I mean by that is basically you only got to press T one time to go to your canted unless you have like an LMG. On the other one, since you have an alternate fire, you're going to go through the alternate fire and then to your canted, which is going to be super annoying. On this one, you can only press T one single time and then have a canted sight, which will make your like spec ops type setups really, really fun, a lot more convenient to use, and actually make running an ACOG pretty effective. Like, not that great overall. Hitting long range shots isn't really that difficult in this game anyway. You're not really going to be fighting people at long range too much, but when you do, I guess that's pretty helpful. So if you are running a canted on your CQC gun, this is going to be a great option, and if you're not, then I don't really recommend it too much, but you can still use it if you don't care too much about having to aim in a lot at all times with your regular sight. So yeah, pretty good. I mean, oh wait, I completely forgot about this one. This one is completely irrelevant. I kind of forgot about this one, and basically, the reason I did is because this one sucks. I don't know why people would ever use this. I don't know. I haven't really seen it too much, but yeah, it is only one zoom level, and it's just this. It doesn't zoom in a ton. The reticle is a lot different from other ACOGs, and it's honestly not too bad, but it kind of doesn't fulfill any particular role. It doesn't feel great as a scope, and it doesn't really feel great as a sight either. It's kind of like a jack of all trades almost. It doesn't have any kind of alt fire, and no, this is not the one I recommend use instead of the regular ACOG. I really don't recommend this one at all. It's probably going to get a 2 out of 5. It's not completely unusable. If you like the reticle, fine, but like it doesn't really do anything too special in my opinion. The Pillad is extremely underrated. I think it's great, but yeah, if you really wanted to, you could just run a Pillad instead. So that's why I don't really recommend it too much. You could use it if you wanted to. The TA33 ACOG, as I've said, is best if you want to use that sniper scope version of it, because this version is a less zoom, kind of just worse ACOG, but its alt fire is pretty good. So if you want to only use the non-alt fire in kind of like very kind of panic scenarios, then do that. However, you know, you got the TA11, and in my opinion, the TA11 kind of does it better in both scopes. So I don't really recommend this one too much. You could use it on a DMR or a sniper rifle, in some cases an automatic, but most cases not. Most automatic guns, you don't want a full scope. That blocks a lot of your range of view. In an auto, you're gonna have to spray for a long time to get some of those super long range kills, so you're gonna end up dying by somebody else because you can't see that. The TA11, on the other hand, this will definitely be more towards snipers and DMRs, but actually will work in similar scenarios to the regular ACOG, just due to the fact that it has this kind of reticle, which is basically just the ACOG but slightly different. If you don't like the reticle on it, and I kind of do, then don't use it, but if you do like the reticle like me, definitely check this one out. Not necessarily necessary to just like rebuy it immediately. Just run the ACOG until you get it. Once you do, it does have that nice alt fire for very long ranges. And then for anything else, you just got this, and that's actually a pretty good sight. Like I said, probably the best ACOG in the game, in my opinion, but it is up to personal preference. As you can see, like I can just use that for range. TA01 is pretty good for like DMRs, but more for like automatics, because I don't feel like a DMR or a sniper rifle is really that great with this optic. If it's a very fast firing DMR or sniper or something like that, maybe. So this is more for only the people who are using an automatic and don't want to use a canted sight. I can see why you wouldn't want to use a canted. I don't really like canteds myself, and I don't really use them, but not a great looking optic picture or anything like that. And this one is, I think, the most expensive, highest kill one in the entire game. We'll talk about the kill requirements in just a second. But yeah, decent optic picture, decent alt fire. I feel like this does do something very interesting. The only other sight in the game that kind of does exactly what this does is the SUSAT scope, and the SUSAT scope kind of sucks, so this is a pretty good option. So ACOG is 400, and then 650 for TA33, not too bad. Then 1,750 for TA11, which is quite a bit. You're gonna have to wait a while for that one. And then TA01 is 2,500. Of course, the TA44 is 295, but that's not really that bad compared to 430. You know, that's like 130 kills off. Like I said, maybe just use a red dot until you get to the ACOG. Yeah, if you guys did enjoy, make sure to comment your favorite ACOG down below. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.